you're going to say, damn, when am I going to get there? And you are going to drive and drive and drive and understand something. You had a group of people living in an area that it was kind of hard to get to. They wasn't going back and forth every day in these flying things y'all riding around in now. It wasn't happening. So that means that the place is so far back up in there that it's hard for you to hear about something that's happened outside of that area. Well, Texas at the time was a country. It wasn't a state. It was a separate country. But the country had been created by someone virtually stealing some land from Mexico. All right? Now, you have to understand how so many so-called black people wound up in Texas. And do you know how that happened? Right now, one of the largest concentrations of a so-called black population exists in Texas. How did that happen? I think they're in Houston, if I'm not mistaken.
They come from Mexico?
No, they didn't. Matter of fact, they used to run to Mexico from that area. Because, see, it was much easier going to Mexico than it was trying to get to Canada. But for some reason, what they want to teach our children in school is that all your people ran to Canada. Now, nonsense. If they was down there, it was close to Mexico, why would they run to Canada? The first article of the Mexican Constitution says what? That's right. Says that will not happen here. That's right. First article of the Mexican Constitution says, no, that ain't going on here. And don't y'all bring y'all's asses across that river talking about you trying to catch no slave, because if you do, we're going to lock you up. That's what the Mexicans said. Now, don't take my word for it. Go look up the Mexican Constitution.
So basically, they got conned into going up north, just like with the migration, with the economic
You
migration.
mean to escape?
To escape, yeah.
Well, what happened was there was a person who had actually learned how to go to Canada, and they came back to get some more folks that were relative to them to take them that way. But there wasn't but a few people.
Right.
Now they got y'all all ran to Canada on the Underground Railroad. Man, see, some kind of way in the 1960s and 1970s, y'all actually allowed these people to trick you again. You know, see, you said, we want y'all to let us have our history in the schools. And they said, well, no, we can't do that. So y'all start burning down all the cities. So then they said, wait a minute, whoa. You ain't got to do all that. What, you want some history? We give you something. And so now they set up the department of this and the department of that. And now you got Professor so-and-so and all teaching black history. And next thing you know, you going to college learning about Afro-Americans something and African-Americans something and Buffalo Soldiers and Jackie Robinson and all kind of old stuff.
The first black to do this, the first black
Ain't
to do
this
that.
something?
That's always.
Ain't this a... Now, wait a minute. Now, I ain't understood. I swear I can't understand this. You want to convince me that, what's his name? Conrad somebody. What?
Conrad, I was true.
What's one of them name West or something?
Oh,
Cornell
Cornell.
West.
I don't know that Negro. And then Dr. So-and-so and Dr. such and such. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Who pays these people?
Harvard.
You mean they paying them to teach me something that's going to help me to learn about myself? You know what? I got me some serious problems now.
Smell like a setup.
Smells like something going on here. That ain't right. So what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to get everybody to examine this thing. Don't tell me nothing about no, we was once kings and queens. Tell me what the word Africa means. And I know everybody's still waiting on me to tell them what the word means. I ain't telling. How long y'all been waiting now?
About 30 minutes.
That's all you been waiting?
Yeah, I ain't here before.
Oh, no, you did. I remember you was all on the internet talking about Africa means such and such. Oh, y'all.
I thought I knew.
Yeah.
I've been looking it up, but I would say like 5 years. So I've made
About
some
that?
progress. Yeah.
Have you made some progress?
Yeah.
What you got?
Oh man, I got to like a fur.
Good.
And
Is it
I
OPH?
have to-
Now, OPHIR's on fear. Well, that was the granddaughter of Ibrahim, or what y'all call Abraham, or Abraham, or whatever. That was his granddaughter, Ophir. But it was also a place.
Ophir?
Yes, Ophir was a place, and you'll find it in the Bible. You actually find it if you look in the Bible, it's there. Now, if you look in your dictionary, it's there. Now, guess what? If you do this correctly, you know what you're doing. The O is an A. The PH is a what?
Yeah.
And the IR. Now, if you understand what you just did, you'll have the same thing that you get with AFER. This is the same thing, but only now you're dealing with the story of this brother called Suleiman. No, his name is Solomon in it.
Shalomo.
Shalomo! Isn't that something? See, because once you can break the names, once you can trace the names and follow the names, you might get to where you're going. That's part of what you're doing with etymology. You see, now you're creating your time machine for yourself. Now you have the wherewithal to create the time machine for yourself. You don't have to wait on anybody to be your leader to tell you how to do this. You learn how to do this for yourself. Once you can do it and you go through the work, now we're going to find out what Ophir is actually talking about, being talked about. And you know what? It's weird now because the word Africa, AF, right? AFR, right? Afar. I is a conjunction vowel like Czechoslovakia. Louisiana, you know, Louis and Anna. Africa, Afar, and Ka, Africa. Conjunction vowel is the I. Ka, you can look it up in your dictionary, and it'll be breath. Breath is air. Afar is fire. And every time you put fire and air together, you get what? Steam. And that steam becomes what? Water. You see, the gas will become a liquid gas. It's still hydrogen.
We talking about life?
That's what life, that's when you're becoming the bio, you're becoming life, you have to have the different ingredients of life. So we're talking about the basic molecular structure, the trinity. I think carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, that is the trinity. A blade of grass. And that's what you are, a carbonaceous organism. And once you understand how this works, now when we're looking at carbon, and the pure form of carbon is a black stone. Now when we have a black stone, we have the basic element of the Kaaba. Now we have the basic element of the pool, where you find the black stones that become Krishna and Buddha. And you go on and on and on.
Catch your going tongue.
But stone is man. The only difference is the rough stone is the rock. And that's the object, the matter, the thing. The smooth stone is the upper being. That is the mental capacity, the sentient, sapient man that you are supposed to be. But now you've stopped being man and you've chosen to be humanoid. You've chosen to be like humans. You want to be like your creators. And now you've made your creators into God. That's weird. That's weird. First, you came as gods, and now you make your creator into a God. You got to be insane.
That made me think of God is Dead.
Understand what Nietzsche was talking about relative to the Superman, the Ubermensch. What he was actually referring to when he was talking about beyond good and evil. This is what we're looking at, the philosophy that develops over a long period of time. We're talking about knowledge as knowledge becomes the science that we have to learn as children so that we can learn to see this thing and we don't have to be blind all of our lives, living in total darkness, absolute, complete darkness. Running around talking a whole bunch of stupid shit. Well, see, the African man was the first man. Okay, no problem. What does Africa mean? Can't even tell me what Africa means, what the word actually means, because we don't know the basic process for bringing the language together. What is a lexicon? What is lexicography? How do you do this? We can't do that, so all of a sudden we done heard this little bit of piece of information over here, this little bit of piece of information over there, bring all them little bitty pigs together, and now we're supposed to have something. You got nothing. But now we get busy and we do the work. We got some absolute geniuses around us. I mean, gods for real. This child back here, I'm telling you, absolutely God. But let me tell you what you do. Let God misbehave. And now you have low key. You have low key. Now you have all of the gods that have been the tricksters and the ones that have been playing with this thing all the time. And you see, they don't really understand the power that they possess.
Wherever the cockatiels, there will the eagles be gathered together.
The power that they possess is something that is, it's almost like giving white folks the trigger of an atomic bomb. They take one atom, in your body, you've got enough atoms to probably light up all of Memphis and Atlanta and Birmingham all put together. The atoms in your body. Now you take one atom from your body, and they've proven that you split it, and you can create atomic force, atomic power. And atomic power with enough tonnage is nuclear power. The nucleide acid in your body, and I think that's what RNA is, DNA, I think that's what it is, in your body is enough to blow up the whole planet if it's done right. And how did they learn how to actually split that one atom? And one of the people responsible for helping them to decode and decipher this, he said, I don't think y'all really want to do this.
He repented. He said he's sorry he did it after it was all over.
And he actually tried to get folks, Einstein, he actually tried to get folks to go in and try to understand why they should leave this kind of power alone. Now, I am suggesting that you've got children that have this power inside of them, and if we would actually, how should I say, illuminate it, operate it, get them to excited. Do you understand what is possible, what is capable, what can be done? But if we play with this, if we joke with this, well, see, brother, all you gotta do is you gotta just know your nationality.
Know your history.
Ain't that nothing? No, we're not doing. See, if I try to suggest to those youngsters that you're working with to know their history, matter of fact, you've been here before. Come on, what year's the inception of the United States of America?
What year the inception of
The inception.
I don't know the inception. I know when they said it was done, but I don't know.
When did they say it was done?
1776.
Now, how did everybody in this room knew what he was getting ready to say? Everybody in here knew what he was getting ready to say. You understand?
So that's what we all been taught.
That's what you all been told.
No,
That's
no,
right.
back to that.
And when I used to once upon a time, I would lecture in front of a college, audience, and this is all dork to this and dork to that, master this and master that. And I'd ask that question as the same answer I would get from everybody.
That's programming.
Yeah, and it's not correct.
Yeah.
But yet we live in this country and we say that we're trying to understand some things. Now, I'm still saying we don't know what the word African means, but yet we all call ourselves African Americans. Ain't nobody even told me yet what the word America means. Isn't that some strange stuff? I've been waiting on it, and like, but it ain't important. Oh, now it ain't important. But you want to tell me I'm an African American. You don't know what African means. You don't know what America means. But you want to tell me that's what I am. And I'm suggesting I cannot be anything that don't mean anything. If it don't mean nothing, then it don't mean nothing. Real simple.
And
Yes.
I had a comment because earlier you were talking about tricksters and trickster gods, and I thought about Anansi, and then
Well, now Nancy is a little different than a trickster. Nancy's been put into the category of a trickster, but Anansi is not necessarily the trickster. I'm saying among African cultures, West African cultures anyway, but see, Nancy evolved in the islands, and it kind of took on a different character in the islands, in Jamaica and in other islands, all right? So the original Anansi character was not a trickster god, okay? And we want to go in and we want to understand those trickster gods, like Loki in the Greek. But Loki in the Greek is like Thor in the Greek, can get us to understand the West African Akan Agrada. In other words, in Greek it's Thor, and in Tree with the Ghanaian people is Agrada.
Is it Greek or is it Norse? Is it Norse?
No. Thor's Greek.
It's Greek, okay.
But now wait, it came to the Greeks in a weird kind of way. The Norse or Norsemen with Odin and the whole crew, based on the Scandinavian groups' mythologies, and they had a place. What was the place called? No, it's a kingdom in the heavens.
Valhalla? Oh.
Yes, yes. All right, but that comes into Greek mythology, and before it's over with, the way we first started receiving Thor is Greek. Now, at the same time, I agree with you. He's a blonde-haired white boy out of the Scandinavian groups. But Odin becomes Woden. All right? But when you get through breaking it by doing the investigation and figuring it out, Odin also becomes Jesus. You understand? Zeus, the same character. But now we're going from one group to the next with a mythology that we've got to go in and break it apart by breaking the stories apart.
Like etymology of the gods, of the mythology?
Basically, yes. But now what we're doing is an epistemological trace. See, etymology is only one part of how you go in and investigate. You must do an epistemological trace just like you do the etymology. Now, the etymology helps you to get to the proper time. In other words, when you do the use etymology, it'll get you to when the word was created. Let's take, for instance, I hear y'all all the time talking about racism, right? Mm-hmm. When is the word created?
Old French and Italian, Raza.
That's not racism. I want to know when racism.
I thought you
was-
said race.
Racism. When was
Wow.
the word created relative to the English language, and when do you find it actually written in English? And guess what? I'm gonna tell you. You're gonna have to find it. Look to find it. First written.
Where?
Supreme Court. A decision is coming out of the Supreme Court, and a judge actually uses the term. You're not going to find it before that.
They had 1580
What he say?
put in the dictionary.
So you said 1580. That this lexicographer is tracing racism to 1580. Then let me tell you this. What's the word?
It
Look at
says
it.
well, this is race number 3.
No problem.
Middle French, Generation French.
All right. So
all
in
that,
French.
Rasa.
Okay, good. So you can trace the rasa, but you're not going to be able to trace race and racism to the 1500s.
It says a class or a kind of people unified by community of interests, habits, and characteristics.
So now they're creating a definition. But now you can't be fooled by any of that. You've got to figure out what they are doing. In other words, I'm suggesting
Like when the dictionary was written, for
Mine
one.
is 36,
your the first usage.
1936.
Who uses it? How do they have it? What do they have?
I believe that race is the primary.
Okay, but how's the word being used? See, we've got to trace the word to its first usage. Now, the lexicographers are going to argue with each other. What's your dictionary? What's your dictionary with that?
Webster's Manual Collegiate Dictionary.
Which one? Which collegiate? Ninth, tenth, third?
Ninth.
Ninth. What's your dictionary?
9th,
Yours is ninth. What year is yours?
1989.
What year is yours?
Connect to me on that quick.
See, understand something. If they're different editions,
1987.
if they're different editions, they're going to have different lexicographers.
Full copyright 1983.
It's not going to be the same.
My original copyright, the original one was 1983 on this one.
Yeah.
Understand? That's what you're gonna have to learn how to discern what these people are doing, why they're doing it. Do not just accept their definitions. Do not just accept what they create. If you do, you'll be trying to work your way out of this 1,000 years from now.
Because really all that stuff is just spin.
Yeah.
It can
Dog
be.
shit to tell.
It can be. I'm not saying that anyone is on purpose trying to spin you. I'm not suggesting that. A lot of these people who actually do this, they don't know that the person who they get it from had actually created something that was erroneous before they got it. They're just taking now and they're going on further with something. That's how y'all got in the position you in now. You believe, matter of fact, I remember when somebody first started coming to my class and I asked the question, what race is Tiger Woods? And what did everybody say?
Combination.
What?
What did he tell everybody? They say combination? What did he say?
Combination, huh? Well, I understand. I remember everybody was saying, including Tavis and Cornell and everybody else, they said he's black.
That's what they wanted.
And he ashamed that he black.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah, but understand something. Did they discover this rule and make it up, this one drop law?
No, sir.
What makes him whatever that rule says he is? What makes him that? And what makes them say that he is what that rule says he is?
The master said so. Master
That's
said
what
so.
that is. So now, guess what? That means that the saviors is actually the ones carrying the chains around.
Carrying the what?
Chains. You see, the ones that say they're your champions and they trying to help you to understand who you are, and they want to be angry at him because he ain't black. He say he ain't black, so he don't care about it. See, that nigga is the one that's really trying to get in your pocket. Yeah, that's a pickpocket is. You understand? See, first of all, why does he? I'm saying Tiger. Why does he have to be anything that you declare he is? How come he cannot be what he determines he is?
And why is he shamed on one part?
He ain't shamed of nothing.
No, actually, he said
He ain't
when
shamed
was
nothing.
8, he called
He
himself
said what?
Cop-
That's
he said when
projection.
he was 8,
They
he called
projected.
himself Copland Nation. But in that same interview, I don't remember anybody remembering when he said the kids tied him to the tree and called him nigger. And I thought, to me, like whatever he wants to call himself after that, because I've never been tied to a tree. I've been called nigger, but I was like, he went through that, so he can call himself whatever he wants to call himself.
But before he got tied to the tree, I'm saying you don't have to get tied to a tree to be able to determine for yourself on this planet who and what you are.
True.
You don't need nobody's permission to be what you feel that you are. And if, in fact, someone suggests that boss has determined that your one drop now makes you one of us, I'm telling you that's some slave shit, and you don't want to be involved in that. And you really don't want to be involved in doing that to another person. That's how slaves behave.
This is, could seem like it's off the subject, but I hope it's not. I was looking at Inside Edition earlier today, and they showed a boy and a girl that's around 19, 20 years old apiece that have started going with each other. And the boy was born female, and the girl was born a boy. And both of them going to be the other. So now they going with each other.
No. What he's saying, what he's saying is that there are some people who have the signal that actually didn't. How should I say? We were talking about mental technologies earlier, and when this thing comes together, this brain is a real hell of a thing. It really is. But if the cells are not necessarily, if they don't develop correctly, there is undoubtedly a process whereby a female can be born male, and a male can be born a female. That's just something that's a natural process. Now, how do you figure out whether it's a natural state or not? You go and you examine plants and animals, and you see if that has been happening.
It does.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Now understand, there's nothing on this planet that is going to follow the rules that the rules that the Pope has determined that you have to follow, or the one who created you determined that you have to follow. Why is it that I have to follow any of those rules that they have determined for you that you're supposed to follow? As long as you follow those rules, you are insisting on being somebody's slave. I don't want to be that.
You know, I guess, this is just like a little bit off the subject, but still along the lines of following rules. I was talking with a woman who is a trained midwife, and I was asking her how come women still give birth lying down as opposed to being vertical?
Mm-hmm.
Because this goes back to, was it King Louis?
Mm-hmm.
And to this day that still blows me away, because it makes sense. It's natural to birth, vertical.
Do you know that there are some women? Do you know that there are some women right now that give birth in water?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it is said, it is thought that it may be the most efficient way for people to give birth.
That's right.
Once upon a time, people relative to you gave birth by just squatting down
Yeah.
and actually cutting their own umbilical cord and getting up and proceeding on with the rest of the day's work.
Animals do it all the time.
All the time. Now, at the same time, I would suggest that if your dog or cat actually gives birth, I hope that you can provide a space for him to crawl up to,
Oh yeah, you gonna
and
be
so he
a
can
bloody mess.
you can stop, and rest for a while. Because I think that the birth process should allow people to rest and heal the body. And I think that long before modern medicine, I think that people may have had ways of doing this that were more efficient than the ways that people are thinking is the only way that you can do it now.
Yeah, they got birthing schools in
Yeah.
Egypt, they said. In different temples, they have found birthing schools. And all through Africa, they had birthing schools.